I have heard stories of known mediums and channelers to say that they've had previous lives where they've worked toward the abilities that they have now, but yet all past life is simultaneous. So it's almost like you're experiencing it in a surreal way, or if I want to merge my conscious with the non-physical, my conscious self as much as possible to get that knowingness, and I can only go so far and have to wait for another incarnation.
Here's what we know about consciousness. When you, in this moment in time, in your physical body, when you accomplish alignment with who you really are is wanting to be present with you right here, right now, not in some past life experience. So true alignment doesn't take you there. True alignment takes you here and makes what's happening right here and now more vivid, more delicious, more meaningful, more tactile, more joyous, you see. So what we always say, and it really is appropriate in the context of this conversation, when someone in any moment is reaching for and finding a past life experience, we want to say there's no way of you accurately knowing whether that was a past life that you lived or not. But this is for sure. It is, whatever you're getting is an exact vibrational match to the vibrational frequency that you've got going on right here, right now. In other words, it's the grid that you've got going on right now filling in. Because every thought that's ever been thought still exists. What happened in the past is still an active vibration, but you can't relive the past, but those active vibrations can re-represent themselves, reconstitute themselves, reactualize themselves in your now. That's why people say, if you don't focus on the past, you're sure to repeat it. And we say, the opposite is true. It is the focusing on the past that makes it certain that you will repeat it, because when you focus upon it, you reactivate the vibration of it. However, no one accurately focuses on the past. You can't. You don't have the capacity to accurately focus on the past. So you do it from a distorted point of view, which means you're recreating the past. You follow that? You cannot focus on the past. You cannot remember accurately when you were 5 years old. You can't. Because you've lived too much and you become too much more, and the relationship between who you're being and who you really are has transformed so much you cannot relive a past experience. But you can review it as best you can through the framework of the vibration that is you right now. So depending upon what grid you've got going on, you might be in the vortex, you might not be. You might be really tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and in sync with the fullness of who you are, and you might not be. But whatever you've got going on vibrationally, your grid is filling in with people in traffic, with people in the elevator, with people at the front desk, with people in the grocery store, with the people who you live with the thoughts that are floating around in the never-ending Akashic Records of vibrationaldom. In other words, everything that has ever been, you have access to. It's like you've got a library card that gives you access to anything. And the way you retrieve it is by activating a vibration, and law of attraction just delivers it to you. And the thing is, as that grid fills in, there's this tendency to say, oh, I've received a message. I've received a message, and the message is meaningful, or I now have knowledge of a past life that I've lived. And we say, it's not that. It's evidence of your vibrational now in this moment grid that you've got going on. It's like sometimes you wake up from a dream, and the dream is really vivid. And let's say, just for sake of this conversation, unsettling, vivid and unsettling. What happened? Is it a premonition of something to come? That's not the point. Is it pieces of memory of things that I lived before? That's not the point either. It's a grid filling in as a representation of what your grid is right now. So if it was pleasing, change nothing. If it wasn't pleasing, do some grid work that feels better. Focus on more of those general words that feel better. So point of attraction is really this subject. Point of attraction. Point of attraction. And point of attraction means point of experience. Point of feeling. The reality that I'm living right now. room full of people here, people all around the world, not two of you in exactly the same place. Not two of you. We're all having a similar experience. Most everyone's listening. You're hearing what we're saying and you're applying it to the details of what you've been living. But not two are having an identical experience, you see. So we are not big encouragers of past anything, past life regression, or even remembering this experience even as recently as yesterday, because there's so much potential grid feeling and power right here and now. If we were standing in your physical shoes, our undivided attention would be upon the preparation of what can I do right now that is the most fun thought that I can have? What is fun and full? How can I love now? How can I feel good now? Our complete attention would be upon that, because in understanding the power of that point of attraction, then the details are just going to fill in with a good moment now and a good moment now and a good moment now, until you can go through a day where everything that happened was just delicious. And at the end of the day, you say, remember when that happened, and remember when that happened, remember what that person said and how that person looked when they said it and how they felt when they were offering the words. And remember how much fun we had together when we were having that interchange. And remember how we found things that we wouldn't have found otherwise if we hadn't been in that place. And remember how the universe yielded this and this and this and this. Day after day of perfection in rendezvous, all available to you now. Why would you ever focus upon the past? You see? The only reason would be because you're not holding the space to allow the grid to fill in with what you want, so you're reaching someplace else for something more interesting or more satisfactory or more satisfying. Ooh, that was so good.
Yes.